Imagine surviving the most powerful weapon ever used in war. A weapon capable of destroying an entire city in seconds. Now imagine surviving it twice. It sounds impossible, but this is the true story of the man who survived 2 atomic bombs during World War II. And his story is one of the most unbelievable survival stories in human history. But before we continue, if you enjoy discovering real and fascinating stories from history, make sure to like this video and subscribe to The Knowledge Relic so you don't miss the next incredible story. Now, let's go back to the summer of 1945. By 1945, the world had been at war for nearly 6 years. Entire cities had been destroyed. Millions of people had lost their lives. Japan was under constant attack from American bombing raids. Factories were destroyed. Resources were running out, and many people believed the war was nearing its end. But something was about to happen that would change the world forever. A weapon unlike anything humanity had ever seen. The atomic bomb. On the morning of August 6, 1945, Tsutomu Yamaguchi was in the city of Hiroshima. He was a 29-year-old engineer working for Mitsubishi. He had spent months in Hiroshima for work. But that day was special. He was preparing to leave the city and return home. Just hours away from boarding a train. Just hours away from escaping one of the worst disasters in history. But fate had other plans. As Yamaguchi walked through the city, he heard something above him. A plane. Looking up, he saw a single American bomber flying across the sky. It was the Enola Gay. Moments later, the plane dropped its payload. A bomb called Little Boy. Suddenly, a blinding flash filled the sky. The explosion was brighter than the sun. The shockwave tore through Hiroshima with unimaginable force. Buildings collapsed instantly. Windows shattered. Fire spread across the city. Yamaguchi was thrown violently into the air. Within seconds, Hiroshima had been transformed into a burning wasteland. More than 70,000 people died instantly. Yamaguchi had suffered severe burns across his body. His eardrums were ruptured. He could barely see, but somehow, he was still alive. As smoke filled the sky, survivors began wandering through the destroyed city, looking for family, looking for safety, looking for answers. That night, Yamaguchi found shelter among other survivors. The city outside was burning. People were injured. Many were dying. No one fully understood what had just happened. They only knew that Hiroshima had been destroyed. The next morning, Yamaguchi did something extraordinary. Despite his injuries, despite the destruction around him, he decided to return home. His hometown was Nagasaki, hundreds of kilometers away. Bandaged and exhausted, he boarded a train and began the long journey. When he arrived home, his family was shocked. His body was burned. His face was injured. The next morning, he went to work. There, he began telling his boss about the destruction he had witnessed in Hiroshima. He tried to explain how a single bomb had destroyed an entire city. But many people struggled to believe him. Then suddenly, the sky flashed again. At 11:02 in the morning, another atomic bomb exploded above Nagasaki. This one was called Fat Man. Another massive explosion tore through the city. Another mushroom cloud rose into the sky. And unbelievably, Yamaguchi had survived a second atomic explosion. Most people would never recover from such an experience. But Yamaguchi survived the war. He lived for decades. He raised a family. And he spent his life telling the world about the horrors of nuclear weapons. In 2009, Japan officially recognized him as the only person confirmed to have survived both atomic bombings. The atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki changed the world forever. They ended a war, but they also showed humanity the terrifying power of nuclear weapons. And stories like Yamaguchi's remind us of the human lives behind these historical events. Stories that should never be forgotten. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like this video and subscribe to The Knowledge Relic for more incredible true stories from history. There are thousands of forgotten stories waiting to be discovered, and we're uncovering them one by one. So stick around for the next video, because the next story we're about to explore might be even more unbelievable than this one. Until then, keep exploring the relics of knowledge.
Stay tuned for the next video. World War I.